as a head coach in the NFL. Dennis Erickson, now in his third year with the Seahawks, says his goal, make the playoffs in '97. Seattle has won the toss and will receive rookie free agent John Hall. Will do the honors. Strong leg out of Wisconsin. They have high expectations for him. Back for Seattle, the veteran Steve Broussard. And we are set to go for NFL '97. Broussard will keep it down, and Seattle will take over at their own 20-yard line. John Freeze, the 8-year veteran, his third career opening day start, his first with the Seahawks. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks and their starters, the offensive line features first-round pick Walter Jones at left tackle. His bookend, the veteran Howard Ballard at the right tackle. Chris Warren is healthy again. He'll start at the running back. Galloway not 100%, but playing. Veteran Mike Pritchard, the other starting receiver, as Brian Blades now comes off the bench. Galloway in motion. On first down, Chris Warren. Warren cuts in and gets up maybe 5 yards. Aaron Glenn in on the stop. Now the starting defense for the New York Jets. This, of course, the big question mark for the team. The front four, Parcells' #1 worry. Only Hugh Douglas is an accomplished pass rusher there. The linebacking core, the strength of their defense. Pepper Johnson, an old favorite of Parcells. Jones and Lewis on the outside. Secondary, a question mark, except for quarterback Aaron Glenn on the verge of a Pro Bowl. Brian Blades has come in. 3 wide receivers. And a 2nd and 5 for Seattle. That's Blades in motion. First pass for Freeze. Fires incomplete. Pritchard the intender. Pepper Johnson right there, along with Ray Mickens.
Seattle tried to cross the Jets up there on a 2nd and 5 when you would expect regular personnel in the ball game. They substitute 4 receivers in right away. You see Freeze going to the arm band to figure out what plays they're calling from the sideline. Freeze, I like him. He really throws the ball well to his left. His natural mechanics tend for him to throw the ball better that way. I asked him about it yesterday in the meetings. He agreed with a kind of a little shy wink.
3rd and 5, 6 defensive backs in the game for the Jets. Freeze has some time. Now flushed out and taken down from behind. Marvin Jones on the sack. And 4th down coming up for Seattle. Jones last year, the middle linebacker, now moved to the weak side, and that's exactly the reason for the move, James.
But you asked Bill Parcells what he was worried about most with this team. Pass rush. Where was he going to find it? Obviously, that guy, Marvin Jones, is able to do it in the nickel situations. Now, if he can get someone to pressure him in the regular situations, it will be okay defensively this ball game.
Rick Tootin is on the punt. Dedrick Ward, 3rd-round pick out of Northern Iowa. And there's a beauty from Tootin. Backs up at his own 25. Tries to cut across and taken down. C.J. Richardson. Excellent special teams play from Seattle. And the Jets will take over. Dedrick Ward, they have high expectations for him. He's 5'9", 180. Has had his ups and downs in the preseason, but has potential to be a spectacular runner.
And Bill likes it. So that's a big plus. He even walks next to Bill and doesn't get hit while he's on the sideline.
And now the starting lineups. As Neil O'Donnell, he's the starter. 2 tight ends in the game to start off here for the Jets. 1st and 10, their own 27. O'Donnell, quick throw, complete to Keyshawn Johnson. And Johnson across to about the 36-yard line. Benny Blades on the stop. Neil O'Donnell, only 6 games in 1996, but he's in terrific shape to start 97. His offensive line, the player to watch, left guard Lonnie Palale. He's going to have to stop Cortez Kennedy. Elliott Williams, very strong tackles. Adrian Morrell coming off that career year last season. Johnson and Graham, but you're going to see a lot of the 3 wide receiver sets with Wayne Trebet. Not yet. Still with the 2 tight end set on a 2nd and 1. Adrian Morrell has got the first down. Blades takes him down, but not before Morrell gets up to about the 42-yard line. The Seattle defense, as we have a player down. One of the best front fours in the NFL. Sinclair and Kennedy Pro Bowlers. The new starter is Phillip Daniels. The linebacking core features the prize free agent Chad Brown and another former Steeler, Willie Williams. At one corner, Sean Springs, the first-round pick. And there's Sam Adams down for Seattle.
This could be a huge blow. Obviously, this is a team that is talking about rotating their tackles. Can't rotate them if one guy's hurt and not able to play. Dan Saliamu will come in. Can't really see what happens to him. He gets up off the ground, see his ankles and feet get a little twisted up. And when you are that big and you go down, you get a lot of people worried on the sideline.
Adams right around 300 pounds. This is fourth year in the NFL. This is the year they felt that he might step up and become the dominating player. He's shown flashes. But they have depth, this team this year. That's one of the keys in the offseason, one of the key free agent acquisitions. Dan Saliamu from Kansas City.
Yeah, but even though they have that depth, these are the three guys that they want playing in the ball game. They had a plan coming into the ball game. Kennedy and Adams will play the first three series. We'll stick Saliamu in, get him in the ball game, wear out the guards up front. You don't have those three quality guys because they're all kind of all pro guys. Sam Adams is a guy who is really coming into his own. Came into the league at only 20. He's a boy playing against men 4 years ago. Now he's a man amongst men.
First and 10. Three wide receivers for the Jets, including Quebec. Adrian Morrell cuts inside. Nice move. Approaching midfield, Benny Blades again on the tackle. But a good pickup from Morrell. 6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4.
And it's a toss-up. When you open the season up, do you want to get the ball? Do you want to kick off? Obviously, for the Jets, as it's played off, they lose the toss, but they actually start with better field position than what Seattle did. Seattle starts on the 20, stalls out. Now the Jets are starting to get a drive. Once you get past midfield, you get a good feeling about yourself. You can see the end zone.
Leon Johnson, Richie Anderson in the game now on 2nd and 4. The give is to Anderson. Close to a first down. Looks a little bit short. Dean Wells brings him down. But this Jet team, they're going to score some points this year.
Yeah, their big concern is whether or not they would be able to stop people defensively. During the preseason, up and down the field, they were able to go. Made Bill Parcells very happy, but then it made him worry about his defense. But if they can get on the scoreboard first, obviously they're out in front. They have some momentum, and their defense will play better out in front than they would behind.
The offensive line trying to protect Neil O'Donnell, who looked like Wile E. Coyote at times last year. Got pummeled, 8 sacks in the season opener. 3rd and 1 here. Morrell, first down to the 45-yard line of Seattle. Matt O'Dwyer opening up a hole for Morrell, who looked very sharp early. Morrell, as we said, a career year last year. He could have a better year, and his numbers might not be as good this season.
Well, his numbers might not be as good, but Adrian Morrell became a veteran. Talking to him, he said, I'm starting to watch film and watch the secondary, because what that tells me from the secondary coverage is whether or not I'll be able to cut back. He's a great cutback runner.
And he's got a good fullback in Lorenzo Neal leading the way. O'Donnell downfield, complete at about the 36-yard line. Keyshawn Johnson with his second reception. Sean Springs, the rookie, on the tackle.
You know, one of the things that Bill Parcells was concerned about, he said Neil O'Donnell does a lot of things well, but one thing that I'm not totally convinced that he's comfortable with is play action passing, something that Phil Simms was very good at. But when you play action pass, for one instant, the quarterback has to take his eyes off the secondary and give that fake a chance to sell itself.
And a first down for the Jets. So O'Donnell and Keyshawn Johnson hooking up early.
When you're able to run the football, you're going to get guys coming up and committing themselves to the line of scrimmage. Look at all the green territory there in front of Keyshawn Johnson. He really secured that catch. It would have been easy to catch that ball in your hands. But early in the season, early in ball games, you want to make sure you come down with the catch.
1st and 10. Morrell trying to get outside. Good pursuit from Seattle. And taking down Sean Springs, the rookie, on the tackle. As a brash young player out of Ohio State, the 3rd overall pick. Very cocky, but in a charming sort of way.
Well, I don't know if he's charming if you're playing against him, but that time, they try and stack it with tight ends. One of his strengths is that he is a strong player, very physical. Dave Brown, the secondary coach, said, you know, I looked at him and he has the development of somebody who's 5 or 6 years older. He's been in the weight room for quite some time.
No pickup on the last one, so 2nd and 10. O'Donnell has some time, goes for the end zone. Corbett holds it in. Touchdown, Jets.
One thing that you want to do, you want to spot guys who are you able to take advantage of. Number 27, Willie Williams is out of the ball game, and number 22, Fred Thomas is in, and immediately Neil O'Donnell goes after this guy. He's not a starter. He's not the quality caliber player that Willie Williams or Sean Springs are, so immediately they go after him, and Corbett burns him for a big touchdown.
And Wayne Corbett, who's had a magical first 2 years in the NFL, off to a terrific start, 35-yard pass play. John Hall, the rookie, makes it 7-0. Wayne Corbett, who caught more passes in the first 2 years of his career than anyone in NFL history. It's the Jets on the board.
Around outside?
Absolutely. And now he might be fighting for a Pro Bowl bid.
Very well may be. You know, I got to meet him down on the field before the game, and I was surprised. He was smaller than what I thought, but he's muscular. He looked like a miniature Andre Reed.
Well, his dad was a bodybuilder, and he's always in great shape. And plain and simple, he usually outworks whoever he goes up against.
Well, talking to Neil O'Donnell, he talked about his 4 receivers, and the one thing about Corbett is he's always open.
John Hall with a kickoff. Again, another beauty. And Steve Broussard with nowhere to go. And that's why John Hall has been entrusted with the kicking duties despite being a rookie, something Bill Parcells doesn't normally like to go with.
Well, in this age with the salary cap, sometimes you're forced to do things that you don't want to do. You know, he might have liked to have gotten a veteran, but he also had Matt Barr in training camp working with these guys. So mentally, maybe this guy is more than just a rookie from working with Matt Barr, who was a number of years with the Giants and the Patriots, and Bill Parcells' kicker. Bill Parcells wanted to keep Matt Barr in his back pocket, and he did that for a number of years.
And Hall perhaps be around for a number of years with Parcells. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Galloway in motion. Chris Warren. And Warren gets up to about the 24-yard line. Rick Lyle on the stop.
Now, I was going over the names of the defensive linemen for the New York Jets. I said Ernie Logan, who's that? Ronnie Dixon, who's that? Rick Lyle, who's that? These guys haven't made a big splash in the NFL up to this point. But every day they get a little better, they get a little more confident. A ball game behind their belts as starters would do a lot for this team. 27 new players for the Jets. Warren again gets the call, breaks a couple of tackles, fumbles the football. And let's see where they're going to roll. Jets recover. Marcus Coleman. No argument for Warren about being down. Mo Lewis perhaps getting in there and knocking it loose. You know, see the ball get stripped out, and you just have to fight to protect the ball. Guys are going to go after the football. Mo Lewis makes a smart play. Warren is on his way down, and that's when you really have to secure the ball. Don't let it get stripped away. You just see one strong player going against another strong player and yanks that ball out. And Marcus Coleman does the right thing, just pounces on it. And the Jets 1st and 10 at the Seattle 41. Kyle Brady in motion. Morrell, nowhere to go. Perhaps a loss of one. Michael Sinclair with the initial hit. Sinclair, a Pro Bowl player last year, but they're without Mike McCrary, who's now with Baltimore. Philip Daniels takes the spot on the defensive line, but you don't think they're going to lose anything. They've picked up Chad Brown, picked up Willie Williams, have really helped themselves overall on defense despite losing a player like McCrary. Well, defense is not supposed to be the question mark for this team, but Dennis Erickson looks a little puzzled now. And his team is on the wrong end of the field, and his offense is on the sideline behind him. 2nd and 11. O'Donnell under pressure, gets away from Sinclair. Incomplete. Intended for Graham. Sinclair with the pressure of the backfield. I like the intent of that play because what they're trying to do, once they substitute and they bring in Fred Thomas, who's the 5th defensive back, the New York Jets are going after this guy. And when you play football, you know, during meetings and stuff like that, you talk about who you'd like to get after. Fred Thomas was a guy, when I mentioned his name, Neil O'Donnell, his eyes lit up.
Thomas, second-year man out of Tennessee. Martin, 3rd and 11. Dedrick Ward has come into the game. 4 wide receivers. O'Donnell pressure and throws it away. Cortez Kennedy. And Bill Parcells screaming at one of the officials.
Well, Bill Parcells would like a holding call. Cortez Kennedy just tackles Leon Johnson. And why isn't there a call? And I would have to agree with Bill Parcells right there. You can delay the man, but you can't tackle him, especially when you know that the ball is intended for him.
So Brian Hansen, who was cut on Monday, re-signed on Wednesday. The veteran is 13th year in the league. And we'll have a penalty marker.
Now, when Hansen gets cut on Monday, do you think he packs up, drives all the way home, or did they tell him to stay close?
I don't think they told him that. Todd Curse, a rookie.
Encroachment, 34 defense, 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
Reggie Brown. But they brought in Todd Kurz, a rookie free agent. They like the way he punted for another team. As Erickson certainly not happy with the start. And now, let's see, they bring John Hall on. And he's going to try a field goal. So the penalty giving Hall a chance for his first NFL field goal attempt.
A nice short one, too.
This one will be about 55 yards. He hit a 60-yarder at Wisconsin. That's his school record. He's got an extremely strong leg. And John Hall with a 55-yard field goal to start his NFL career. The rookie free agent from Wisconsin from long distance. Jets up 10-0.
Down, you see 29%, second worst in the NFL. They're starting a trend. Those boos I thought were freeze at first, but now that I listen more closely, they were boos.
I think you should listen a little more closely. John Freeze off to a rough start. Of course, his backup, Warren Moon. That's going to be a hot topic in Seattle if the Seahawks even slightly struggle. And penalty markers down. A lot of movement on the line.
I called that a little bit of movement, but resulted in a 5-yard penalty, I believe, against the Seahawks.
To the snap, false start, 38 offense, 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
Ron Bloom, our referee, after he turned his mic off, I think he did say a lot of movement on 38. That's strong. Dedrick Ward back at his own 31. A 10-0 Jets lead here in the first quarter. Bad snap. Pete does a good job getting the snap. Bad punt. Ward falls down but holds on to the football, gets up, and gets up to the 44-yard line. Reggie Brown slowed him down. Tim Houck on the tackle. And the Jets will take over. Kevin Mawai struggles on the snap. And the Jets with a 10-0 lead. Jets off to a terrific start, quieting the Kingdom. 1st and 10, O'Donnell to throw. Fires complete at midfield. Fred Baxter, the tight end, on the reception. Dean Wells brings him down. And Neil O'Donnell looked very sharp early, James.
Very sharp.
And tonight on Dateline, the tragic death of Princess Diana. How could it have happened? For all the latest details, tune into Dateline tonight, following the NFL on NBC on most of these stations. 2nd and 4 for the Jets. Adrian Morrell. Nice run from Morrell down to the 42. He's got a 1st down. Benny Blades takes him down. Blades said after leaving Detroit following 9 years, he's glad he comes to a defense now. He doesn't have to do everything. He's had to do a lot early.
Yeah, and making tackles downfield is not something that Benny Blades wants to do on a regular basis. Adrian Morrell is a guy who not a lot of people can figure out how fast he is, but he does have that extra gear. Just saw him accelerate there right at the end of the play.
And for the 3rd time, Jets in Seahawk territory. O'Donnell looks incomplete, intended for Graham, who got whacked from behind by Willie Williams. And 2nd down coming up.
O'Donnell did something there that his linemen are very, very, very pleased about. Neil O'Donnell is a guy who he likes to hold the football. He feels that you can kind of make something big happen if you hold it for just that extra tick. If you talk to his offensive lineman, nobody's open, Neil. Please get rid of the ball. You saw him? He's waiting, he's waiting. He gets rid of the ball, no sack, line up again and go at it.
Very conscious of not throwing interceptions. O'Donnell, under some pressure, has to throw it away again. Good rush and a flag thrown. Chad Brown coming in from into the backfield. And Brown having some words with O'Donnell, the former teammates with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 94, defense. 15 yards, first down.
See, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that Chad Brown, you get a step. He took his step. He takes long steps. He gets a hit on Neil O'Donnell. Once that quarterback gets out of the pocket, this area back here, he should be fair game. That's the same thing that Chad Brown is thinking. This guy's fair game. I'm going to take my shot on him.
But he's released the ball, and Brown still kind of lowers the head a little bit and comes in for the hit. I think he could have stopped.
Yeah, but unnecessary roughness in a game that is supposed to be rough doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It was not a rough hit, just perhaps a little late. 1st and 10. We're now at the Seattle 26. Kyle Brady in motion. Halfback option, and incomplete. Graham, the intended receiver. Leon Johnson, the rookie, who actually threw 2 touchdown passes in college. Didn't really have an open target that time.
You know, and this is a guy, when you read his bio, Leon Johnson, who was a quarterback when he first went to college. Didn't look like much like a quarterback. Now I understand why Leon Johnson's playing running back. But granted, guys were in his face, a little nervous, all of that, but guys call him a great student of the game for a guy who's just a rookie. Carthon there talking to him. Carthon is a guy who may one day roam the sidelines as a head coach.
Bill Parcells says he has the potential. 2nd and 10. O'Donnell going for the end zone again. Graham got it. Touchdown. Fabulous catch from Jeff Graham. 26-yard scoring strike. 16-0 Jets.
Once again, Fred Thomas is the victim. Find a guy who you feel is a weak link in the defense and go after him. Exactly what the Jets are doing. I wish I had had more offensive coordinators who felt the same way.
Graham and O'Donnell both injured last year quite a bit. They were both former Steelers. They have a nice feel for each other. An excellent concentration on that catch. John Hall for another extra point. And this is an unbelievable start. It's still the first quarter. Just under 4.5 to play. Parcells' era off to a dandy start.
In the NFL means that you haven't done anything yet. But Neil O'Donnell, 5 out of 8 passing, 2 touchdowns. Morrell, good push on the offensive line, getting him some good positive yards. And the Jets are off to a flying start.
And Graham with a TD catch. Corbett with a TD catch. The #1 pick from last year, Keyshawn Johnson, not yet, but that shows you their versatility. And Hall once again. And another beautiful kick. Broussard says, enough of this. I'm going to take this out. 5 yards deep. Cohen Brown misses him. And finally he's thrown out Jerome Henderson. Knocks him out of bounds, and Seattle will take over. Right now, let's go down to Len Berman.
Well, Mike, he's wearing number 80. His name is Wayne Corbett. It's Wayne Corbett's dad. Made the trip from Wanacue, New Jersey. What do you think so far?
Well, I'm trying to control my emotions right now. We've been down this road before, and I just want to wait to the final gun, and then I'll give you my feelings.
What are the feelings when your son catches the first touchdown pass and your kid's playing in the NFL?
Well, it's a wonderful feeling. And I only can equate it to the same way I feel when I open up People magazine and see an article that my daughter Jennifer has written as she's a reporter for them.
Little plug for the other child. All right, nice talking to you. Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Lenton, can you get him to flex one of those biceps?
So he's got it. That's a typical parent. Got to get the other kid in.
Yeah.
Yes, Wayne is good, but you know I have some others.
I understand totally.
Start, 66 offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Pete Kendall with the movement. And more boos for Dennis Erickson Seahawks. And there you see the penalty numbers.
And those aren't physical errors. Those are mental errors. You would have expected the Seahawks to be a little more mentally sharp this ball game.
Lamar Smith is now the lone setback. This is what the Seahawks intended to do. Let Warren start a little bit, then put Smith in. Smith on the dump off, has a lot of room to go. Marcus Coleman throws him out of bounds from behind, but not before a big gain up to the 36-yard line. Smith played a lot last year when Warren was injured, and he showed what he could do.
And the way that he was spun around at the end of the game, you would have thought that Coleman would have had some of the face mask, but apparently the official right on top of the play didn't see it that way, didn't see him grabbing the face mask, maybe just the shoulder pads and swinging the guy around.
The coaching staff at Seattle feels Smith would start for a lot of other teams. First down. Freeze again to Smith and hit quickly. Hugh Douglas, the tackle. And their plan is to rotate them. We asked Erickson if he'd like to see one back step to the forefront, be the featured back, and he likes the idea of using both of them quite a bit.
He likes the idea of using both of them, but one of the things that you have to be very careful about when you're alternating players is what type of play they come out of the game on. You know, is Chris Warren now on the sideline feeling like the GOAT because he fumbled a series ago? Now you put Smith in, he picks up some yards. Hard to get back in the ballgame when the other guy's playing well.
Erickson says they're going to go by feel every game. 2nd and 8. Freeze, pass deflected, nearly picked off. Aaron Glenn almost with the interception. Well, that was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
You know, looking at Freeze's face, you could imagine this guy is just about to take a nap. He is so calm, so collected. Galloway comes inside, the ball's behind him. Aaron Glenn is a guy who had 4 interceptions last year and ran 2 back for touchdowns, so you definitely don't want him to get his hands on the football.
They don't throw in Glenn's vicinity all that often. 3rd and 8. Freeze again has time. Incomplete, intended for Brian Blades, well over his head, and Freeze is really hearing it. And I guarantee you, there's about 55,000 here. Half of them are talking about this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Warren Moon is concerned. He's not going to pressure Freeze. He'll come to the sideline, talk to him about what's happening. This is not the start that this team had planned. They figured they were very solid with all the new acquisitions on defense. Offensively, we just continue on the path that we were on last year.
Tootin on to punt. Ward back again. Short kick. Ward at the 23. Taken down quickly. It's up to about the 27-yard line. C.J. Richardson on the tackle. Kirstie Alley's back on NBC Thursday this fall with the brand new comedy series, Veronica's Closet.
What's it about?
You're just gonna.
I mean, don't they tell you this stuff in advance? I mean, she was great in Cheers. I know that.
She's gonna be great again. Trust me, please.
Thursday, I'll stay at home. I'll watch.
You don't have to stay at home. You can tape it if you want. So Freeze already with some problems early. Dennis Erickson has said, hey, if Freeze struggles, he will use Warren Moon, but I don't think he envisioned even thinking about it this early. Play fake for O'Donnell. Graham is wide open. And again, it's Seattle territory at the 45-yard line. There was nobody within almost 10 yards of him.
And one of the things we talked about earlier, Neil O'Donnell, play action faking, sticks the ball in Adrian Morrell. You see all the linebackers come up. There's no one between to even cause Neil O'Donnell any problems to throw the football. A lot of, you know, I almost think that I could complete that pass.
A former quarterback, James Lofton, many years ago. Graham, though, a bit shaken up after that 27-yard pickup. Corbett in motion. Morrell has some blockers ahead of him. Tries to get outside. Gets past Blades down to about the 38. Darrell Williams finally brings him down. But everything going right for the Jet offense early on. What a difference from last year when they played Denver. It was Murphy's Law for the Jets in the opener against the Broncos. In fact, Murphy had a lot better luck than the Jets did last year.
I think Murphy is signed up and is now playing for the Seattle Seahawks. Bill Parcells, in talking to him yesterday, said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what our team is going to be like. when we play for real. We did some good things during the preseason. We had to learn how not to lose. They're doing a real good job of it right now.
Morrell close to the first down. Michael Sinclair brings him down. Probably third and short. But they really are. It's an unknown quantity. 27 new players, a completely different coach, and certainly, as we mentioned earlier, one of the best ever in the history of the league. So you just don't know how they'll respond.
Well, the interesting thing about it, we had the penalties flashed up earlier. Seattle 4 penalties, a team that comes back almost intact. The Jets, a bunch of new guys, they haven't even committed a penalty yet.
3rd and 2. Morrell has the first down. Sean Springs runs him out, but they'll move the chains again for the Jets. $17-0, and it's still the first quarter. Sam Adams, I want to say he's okay, but by the looks of it, he doesn't look okay.
Right. That does not look like a good run, even for a guy who weighs 300 pounds.
Rick McMacken, the defensive coordinator, next to him. Adams doesn't even have the breath to talk right now. 3 tight ends. O'Donnell, pump fake. Fires. Kyle Brady has the catch. Nice move from Brady. And it takes about 3 Seahawks to bring him down at the 24. And Neil O'Donnell and the Jets could not have envisioned a better start to the '97 season. O'Donnell with 2 touchdown passes. The Jets
At the end of the first quarter.
Nearly flawless. Harsh as we begin the second quarter, but the way Seattle has struggled in the game, getting away from them a little bit early. Do you already think about bringing Warren Moon in? Can you bring him in week 1?
Well, if you take Chris Warren, who's your all-pro running back, and you decide before the season starts, I'm going to alternate him with his backup. You take Warren Moon, who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yes, I'd plug him in right away.
There's high expectations in Seattle. On 2nd and 3, Adrian Morrell twists and gets another first down, and finally taken down at about the 16-yard line. And the Jets, does the word dominate apply here?
The word dominate applies big time. The stat that I like, the Jets throwing the football extremely well, 120 yards in the first quarter. Neil O'Donnell, the guy who everyone said maybe he holds the ball too long, I don't want him to get sacked. He has done everything right up to this point.
So another first down for the Jets now at the Seahawks 16. And again, O'Donnell has a little time, gets away, fires. Keyshawn Johnson, nice catch from behind, and gets to about the 2-yard line. Winston Moss brought him down. Johnson, good adjustment.
Good adjustment. And when I talked earlier about the 4 receivers, Neil O'Donnell said Keyshawn is a guy with size. Jeff Graham is a guy who runs great routes. Wayne Corbett is always open. Keyshawn Johnson, a big physical target, even slimmed down a little bit this year. Bill Parcells looked at him and said, you know, you looked a little sluggish. You didn't look like the same receiver you were when you were at Southern California. Lost a little weight. He's ready to play football.
1st and goal at the 1. O'Donnell fires, touchdown, Kyle Brady. They are shocked at the Kingdome. 23-0 Jets.
I talked to Kyle Brady before the game, and I said, are they going to throw you the football? And he kind of laughed because he's not a primary target. You have all those other fancy wide receivers. Adrian Morrell to dump the ball to. 2 receptions for Brady, a touchdown. A guy who was one of the best blocking tight ends in the AFC is now getting a chance to catch the football now and then.
So Brady coming through as Hall puts it through. 24-0. Brady, the former #1 pick out of Penn State, with his first TD reception of the season.
Cars more Americans trust. By AT&T, it's all within your reach. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, you don't have to live thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Kyle Brady, the 9th overall pick in the '95 draft. He has been a devastating blocker, but he, I guess you could say, underachieved as a receiver his first 2 years. But he is off to a terrific start here first half.
Well, if you ask Kyle Brady, he'd say, I underachieve until they throw me the ball. Give me the ball.
Well, that's great. He's ready to become an author. As John Hall has now kicked at 4 kickoffs, 3 of them touchbacks. The one Broussard brought out was 5 yards deep.
And Broussard is just trying to make a play. You look at the Seattle Seahawks walking out onto the football field. They're booing Freeze. This is a team that stick Warren Moon in. Maybe you can't bring them back when you're down 24-0. Stick with Freeze. Talk about it when this game is over. Then play Warren Moon perhaps next week.
I think he won't bring him in, certainly in the first half. You might see him start the third if this continues. Max Strong going in motion. Freeze to throw. Ball tipped again, nearly caught. Joey Galloway, but again it was tipped to the line of scrimmage.
See, if you're a fan, you can be as disillusioned with Freeze as you want to be. But right there, the receiver has to give some separation between himself and the defensive back for Freeze to try and put the ball in. He tried to stick it in there, but there's no room between the defender and John Freeze. The defender and Joey Galloway, rather.
Marvin Jones appeared to have tipped
the ball
it there.
Also tipped, yes. But the guys have to get open downfield for him.
2nd and 10. Incomplete, intended for Brian Blades, who wanted a call.
Look at his shoulder pads. Look at his shoulder pads sticking out of his uniform. You don't come to work dressed with your pads out of your uniform. Brian Blades, the defensive back, is holding him, pulling the jersey. It's obvious that he's being held, but he's not getting the call.
Maybe that's the grunge look here in Seattle.
Very much. Well, it's a grunge look that they don't need. They need somebody to get open. Blades, admittedly, playing only at 80%, playing with a brace on his knee for the first time. This is a team that's struggling to find something that's going to work for them offensively.
Struggling to say the least. 3rd and 10. And with every play, Freeze of the Seahawks getting booed. Freeze has time, fires, complete. Lenara Smith. Let's see if they roll it. No, incomplete. A hard hit from Otis Smith, but they rule an incomplete pass. And 4th down coming up.
Right now, sum it up, the Seattle Seahawks stink. Throw a pass out in the flat, a ball that should be easily caught. Guy comes down, puts the hit on him. The other thing I don't like about it, throw the ball beyond the 1st down markers. Give your guys a chance to make a play. You wait that long, of course they're going to come up and nail your receiver.
And you just see some tentativeness now out there as Tootin gets off a short kick. Ward has it, plants, cuts across midfield, and dives down to the 46. The Jets, again, excellent field position, and a 24-0 lead. Loud noise here in the Kingdom.
The only crowd noise we'll hear is when these guys decide to shuffle out of here. The Jets have controlled the line of scrimmage. One thing that we thought was going to be a question mark for them. We thought Cortez Kennedy, Samuel Adams, Dan Salimu would be able to affect them. But Roger Duffy and his gang have protected him excellently.
1st and 10. Adrian Morrell. And Morrell, another good run. Let's go down on the field to Len Berman.
Crowd, Mike, they were doing the wave earlier, but since we've heard nothing but boos, and this is a critical time for the Seattle franchise. They're not sold out today. It's not on television here. They've got a new owner who spent a lot of money. This team has to get off to a good start. It's as critical for them as it is for the Parcells era, and so far this crowd is responding with nothing but negative reaction.
Well, you mentioned, James, how Western Division of the AFC is tough. This was going to be a gimme game for them. Not that you take any team lightly. 2nd and 3. Morrell easily the 1st down to the 31-yard line. John Burke, the tight end, with an excellent block.
There's Paul Allen in the owner's booth, and has his little laptop there. Maybe he's trying to figure out something on a program that'll help the Seattle Seahawks.
He did all his work during the offseason and was hoping to see it come to fruition on the field. Not the case here in the 1st half. He's a patient man, though.
And we keep wondering what's wrong with the Seattle Seahawks. We have to start taking a look at what's right with the Jets.
And so far, it's been everything here in the 1st half. O'Donnell going for the end zone, and Corbett looks at the official. Thought he was bumped, but Willie Williams right there. And of course, the best way to follow the 1997 NFL season is to go online to NBCSports.com. We'll have complete wrap-ups of the weekend's games.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's following what's going on the field. A little disappointed, but you know, he can flip over to another website, maybe check out another team, and maybe think about buying somebody else.
Well, he's going to not have anything better to do in the second half unless the Seahawks come alive here. It has been all Jets, 24-0. O'Donnell, incomplete. Corbett, the intended receiver. Darrell Williams on the coverage. So a 3rd and 10 coming up. Darrell Williams, who replaced a very popular player, Eugene Robinson, here in Seattle. Second year with the Seahawks. And there's Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator, who was the happiest man in the offseason. Nobody was happier in the offseason because most of the acquisitions were on the defensive end.
He said, I've got all the guys. I've got all the new toys to work with. And right now, somebody must have unwrapped them and lost the instructions.
3rd and 10, whistles and flags. And we'll hear from Ron Bloom once again, his 5th year as an NFL referee.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76 offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
And the old sarcastic cheer was Jumbo Elliott called for the penalty.
Yeah, there's Chad Brown, the guy who they spent a lot of money on. Chad feels uncomfortable with those expectations laid on Benny Blaine's a good pickup for Willie Williams, also on defense. And McCracken, who actually coached Joe Kane at Oregon Tech. Dan Sally-Moo is not in there on that list, but Warren Moon is a guy who I think a lot of people in the stands are waiting to see.
3rd and 15. O'Donnell incomplete. And a late flag coming in. Corbett, the intended receiver. Willie Williams poked it away, but a late flag coming in. Just another reason to boo if you're a Seahawks fan.
And the Seahawks finally doing something close to
Pass interference, 27 defense, 1st down.
The bad thing about it is the flag comes from deep center field. Ken Griffey's way down there, but you see Willie Williams with his hands on Wayne Corbett. You get in that 5-yard range. The guy's 4 or 5 yards down the field. You feel like you can have your hands on him. All Willie Williams was doing, he still had that first jam. He just hadn't taken his hands off of him.
Jets now with 13 first downs. The Seahawks with 1. All out the 34. Leon Johnson and Richie Anderson in the backfield for the Jets. This one goes to the rookie Johnson. And he gets down to the 27-yard line. Dean Wells makes the stop. You expect Johnson maybe 8 to 10 touches a game. He's been that impressive in the preseason.
Yeah, and Parcells talked about the fact that, yeah, Adrian Morrell's our guy. He's the man. He does the big workload for us. But I want this guy to be able to last the season. So I'm going to put in Johnson when I feel like putting him in. He's going to get some work. We'll keep Morrell fresh, keep him around for 16 ball games.
2nd and 3. Morrell back in. A fresh Morrell. And it appears he has another first down. Parcells said that he made a mistake early in his career as a coach when he was with the Giants. Joe Morris was his featured back, and he just pounded Morris game after game. He learned his lesson and now wants to save someone like Morrell.
I think when you first start coaching, you can be pretty stubborn about a lot of things. Everyone looked at Joe Morris, probably told Bill, the guy's too small to carry the ball that many times. Bill says, no, he's not too small. He's my guy. I know what he can do. Morris was worn out by about his 4th or 5th year in the league. He doesn't want the same thing to happen again. And that's coaching experience. You learn from your mistakes. Some coaches never learn from their mistakes. Bill Parr said the one thing that he knows about this team is he knows what the end product should look like. Had success with the Giants, with the Patriots. He says, we're not there yet. He said, but when we get there, I'll know it because I've seen it before.
That's his advantage. Will not want to discuss being a quote-unquote star coach. And says that's his one advantage. As the Jets get another first down. Morrell, nice move outside. And finally thrown out of bounds by Darrell Williams. And there's some bewildered looks on the Seattle defense.
You know, Morrell just able to stop and start, to cut, to dart, to dash, making guys look very, very bad. Right there, breakdown position, fall down, breakdown position, fall down. Morrell is a guy, we talked about him earlier, he has that extra gear and he's able to kick it in right away. Not the fastest guy. He says he hasn't run a 40 since he was coming out of high school, but he's a guy who has good football speed, and I know that's a term that's overused. He's able to get his jets going when he needs them to go.
First charge, team timeout.
And the Jets will call a timeout. They've got to take a rest from all this success. Still early second quarter, Jets in complete control. Week 1, NFL 97, all Jets at the Kingdome, along with James Lofton, Mike Green on hand, 24-0. And the Jets looking for another score. O'Donnell will throw again. Plenty of time. Was he inbounds? Yes, a catch. Fred Baxter, the tight end.
I think the biggest problem for the Jets, the remainder of the ball game, is to continue to come up with plays. Everything that they have run has worked so easily. See Neil O'Donnell rolling out, hitting Fred Baxter right along the sideline. And Fred, yeah, pretty close.
Very close.
He got 1 foot down. So those feet are a lot bigger than what you realize. It drags both of them.
Perhaps,
good job, Mr. Baxter.
Perhaps no control, though, or not complete control on the catch. Morrell cuts back again. And this time taken down. Sean Springs with a nice tackle after perhaps a 2-yard pickup.
Adrian Morrell is the type of guy who will run the football where he feels the football can be run. He's not going to just plug it up in one hole. Great vision, great sense of what the coverage is. That time he cut back. If he's going to study film, he's going to realize that Sean Springs is going to be on the back of that side when they only have one wide receiver.
2nd and 8. O'Donnell throws it away. Then he had some time, good coverage that time. Dan Saliamua with a little bit of pressure, but the Jets' offensive line has really performed well.
Yeah, in a ball game with that we thought Cortez Kennedy, Sam Adams, Dan Saliamua would dominate the interior part of it. Well, it's been Lonnie Palele, Roger Duffy, Matt O'Dyer, the centers and the guard for the Jets. They are the guys who've done the work. Granted, on the outside, everybody knew that David Williams and Jumbo Elliott, when they're healthy, they form 2 very, very good tackles. But inside, we thought Adams, Kennedy, those guys would have a field day. But it's been the Jets who've been having the field day.
And the body language of the Seattle players does not look good. O'Donnell fires. Too high. Did he get it? No, incomplete. Corbett nearly pulled off the spectacular catch.
Corbett has a way to get open. Comes down in motion, heads straight up the field. In the back of the end zone, what happens? You only want to defend X amount of field. Say, okay, if somebody's going to catch it in the back 2 yards, we'll give that to him because they had to throw the ball over. Corbett, all 5 foot. I'm going to give him 9.5. Goes up. And I mean, that's so close to being in bounds. College, that's good.
28-yard field goal now for John Hall. Hall already with a 55-yarder. The Jets 5 possessions, 5 scores, and a 27-0 lead. Of course, Bill Parcells has to be pleased with his debut. He's not had some great debuts with his other 2 teams that he's been head coach of. Back in 1983, 42-year-old Parcells coaching debut with the Giants, faced John Robinson and the Rams, and would lose his first game as an NFL head coach, 16-6. And then went on to win 2 Super Bowls. 10 years later, September '93, Parcells would lose another opening day debut as the Patriots head coach. Bills winning that one.
But in each picture, Bill Parcells gets a little slimmer. I mean, talk about off-season conditioning for the players. Bill Parcells has off-job conditioning. Has a job, goes, he loses a little bit of weight, gets another job. He's going to melt away if he gets another job.
I think I'm uncomfortable talking about this.
About his weight?
Yes.
Well, he's a good-looking man, though.
I still think I'm uncomfortable. But he is got a smile on his face, perhaps on the inside. You don't see him smile during the game very often.
But this is the nervous time for a coach because you want this thing to get over, and that clock just takes forever to run down.
John Hall, 4 or 5 kicks have been for touchbacks. Steve Broussard at his own goal line. And the crowd excited. Grabbed by the leg at the 21-yard line. Ray Mickens doing a good job. And Seattle will take over. And you can bet every time they take over, the crowd looking at the sideline to see, will it be number 17 or number 1? I mean, it sounds crazy to say in week 1 of the first half, but when you have a guy like Warren Moon that puts so much pressure on a coach and the starting quarterback.
And I don't want to blame John Freeze for anything that has happened to this point. Really, you want to blame someone. Blame the defense so far. They have not held up their end of the bargain. Freeze has not thrown the ball well. He hasn't had the quick, decisive reads that we thought he would have. He has to get things going quickly.
And he's hit by Hugh Douglas, gets it off to Chris Warren, and that's thrown for a loss. Ernie Logan on the tackle, but Hugh Douglas set it all up. Marvin Jones as well.
Here's Douglas against Walter Jones, who is the rookie lineman. Not enough kick speed to get him. Comes right around the corner. Granted, it's a screen play. You have to at least block for 2 counts. Walter Jones is part of his education. The guy who's taking the lumps is John Freeze.
2nd and 18. Quick throw. Mike Pritchard has it. Brought down by Marvin Jones. But not before he gets up to about the 26-yard line. And every cheer is sarcastic right now from the Seahawk fans.
Well, I don't know if it's sarcasm. They really want this team to get something going. The guys who are here, the fans who are here today, are their other, quote, loyal fans. They didn't have to come. They weren't forced to come. They want to come and see their team play well. It hasn't happened to this point. They need to get something going. Still have 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. They're not out of the ball game, but they're close to being out of it.
3rd down, quick throw, Galloway. Nice hole in, good for the first down. He's gang tackled. So Joey Galloway in traffic gives the Seahawks a first down. And the crowd finally with reason to cheer. I think there's a little sarcasm in this.
Well, see, that's because you're from New York, and you're a New York kind of guy. Not that all New Yorkers are sarcastic. Some of them are nice people. But what happens to the Seattle Seahawks now is their receivers become sitting ducks. They have to throw to get back in this ball game. They have to get back in a hurry. They need some quick scores. They need to get on the other side of the football field, the other side of 50, which they have not done so far.
That's Galloway's first catch and just the 2nd first down here in the opening half. Chris Warren, not a lot of room. Pepper Johnson quickly in the backfield to bring him down. Maybe 2 yards on the play. And Pepper Johnson is on this team because he can still play. No security blanket for Bill Parcells.
There's Pepper Johnson right there, and I questioned Pepper. I said, you know, when you were a young guy, you used to be able to run sideline to sideline. What is it now? Maybe the numbers to the numbers? And he laughed, he shook his head. He said, no, I can still go sideline to sideline. Guy loves to play football. I talked to Carl Banks, who a longtime Giant backer, who is now the director of player development. He said Pepper just loves to play. They're going to have to drag him off the football field when it's time for him to retire.
Chris Warren breaks a couple of tackles, scoots up to about the 45-yard line. Hugh Douglas initially hit him, cut him underneath. And for the first time, Seattle moving the football. That's their 6th play of the drive, easily their longest thus far.
Well, Bill Parcells, like I said, Dennis Erickson on the other side, but Parcells, this is a time where you start to worry about your team. You get this nice, comfortable lead. It's easy to sit back, relax, and have an attitude like, hey, we got one in the bag.
You kind of relax a little bit. You shut it down because you're so psyched up to start the game. There's Warren on 3rd and short. Very close to a first down. Pepper Johnson again right there helping out on the tackle. And a first down for the Seahawks. So a pair of first downs in this drive. This crowd was so loud. And the starting lineup introductions, it used to be one of the loudest places in the NFL, but it's been a long time since they had things to cheer about. They haven't made the playoffs since 1988, have not had a winning record since 1990. And now they see those numbers here in the first half. Freeze, quick throw, complete in jet territory. Joey Galloway with his second reception. Aaron Glenn brings him down.
Talked earlier about John Freeze and the ability to throw to his left, something that he does better than throwing to his right. Just a quick three-step drop. See, his body's already turned. The mechanics are perfect. The coverage isn't bad either. Galloway and Freeze, I'm pretty sure they've run that play a couple of times in practice.
Nice matchup with Glenn and Galloway. Two of the better young players at their respective positions. Second and 3. Another quick drop. Threw it behind Blades, and he holds on for the first down. Beautiful catch from the veteran Brian Blades. Although you certainly want to get the crowd going, but you don't get into the showy stuff when you're down 27-0.
See, that's not showy stuff. I mean, that was a heck of a catch. The ball's behind him. He reaches back with one hand. Hey, you know, a guy dunks the ball in basketball. You know, he runs down the court with his hands up. That's a great play right there. Anything that they can get to continue to keep momentum going. The Blazers, the guys didn't know he'd be able to play today.
He's 5 for 5 on this drive, and nearly 6 for 6 to tight end Deems May. Should have caught it.
You know, the tight ends wear a lot bigger shoulder pads than the wide receivers. And one of the reasons is because they do a lot of blocking. Sometimes when you do a lot of blocking, your hands get all bruised up. Maybe Deems, you know, the hands are a little bruised. Couldn't hold on to. And that's the most painful feeling in football. Wide open. Nobody hits him. No ball.
And nobody talks to him when he goes back to the huddle, and it's 2nd and 10. Although Freeze is not that type of quarterback. The receiver drops it as Chris Warren doesn't have a lot of room to go. Marvin Jones right there to stop him. But Freeze, whereas some quarterbacks, and I'm sure you've seen him in your career, some guys will get on you if you make a drop. Freeze is the type that goes with a positive encouragement.
You know, I almost dropped the ball once. Well, maybe a couple. And Jim Kelly was a guy, he would come look for you. He wouldn't get right in your face, but he'd get close enough and let everybody else know that you had dropped the ball. Freeze said he needs to learn to do some more barking. Learn to bark at the offensive linemen if they're not protecting him.
As you mentioned earlier, he was so low-key. Now he's got a 3rd and 10. 11th play of the drive for Seattle. Their first drive of the afternoon. First real drive. Complete. Brian Blades, first down. Out to the 26-yard line. And Brian Blades is not a starter this year, but still a very effective veteran, coming up with some nice catches on this drive. And we're coming up on the 2-minute warning. Jets still in complete control, 27-0, but the Seattle Seahawks on the move. Touchdown passes, as it's been all Jets until this latest Seattle drive, their first sustained drive. 11 plays this one, and John Freeze finally moving the football.
Yeah, but moving the football isn't enough. Have to cash in. This is the biggest drive of the season for this team. Obviously, first game, all that sounds corny. Oh, dropping the ball on the ground. No way.
Just when they get going, Freeze recovers his own fumble. And you have to wonder if it's even crossed his mind about Warren Moon. That can sound a little bit unfair in week 1, but there's pressure on him this year to win.
Well, it's crossed his mind, and Dennis Erickson is a very blunt coach. He said if John Freeze isn't getting it done, I wouldn't hesitate to go with Warren Moon. But before this drive started, Freeze has only thrown 5 passes. Hadn't been in the game long. Nothing had worked for them offensively, run or pass.
2-yard loss on the fumbled snap. Freeze again tipped at the line of scrimmage and almost picked off once again. Ray Mickens was in the area.
Right here is the instance where John Freeze has to tell his guys, I'm trying to get rid of the ball quickly. You know that. You hear the play called in the huddle. Guys, get their hands down. He has to take command of the team, start pointing some fingers, and getting things done.
It appeared Mo Lewis tipped that one. That's the 3rd tip that Freeze has thrown. And now they've got a 3rd and long. Very quiet at the Kingdom. Pritchard has the catch down at the 19, short of the first down. Otis Smith quickly brings him in. And the crowd, you can already hear him wanting to go for the first down.
Call timeout, talk about this one.
Yeah, that's what Dennis Erickson will do. 4th and 3 coming up. Down 27-0.
What would happen if when the quarterback...
Less than a minute to go. First half of the Kingdom. Jets leading the Seahawks 27-0. Coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report, including the new guy, Sam Weish, making his debut back in New York, along with Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth, and Greg Gumbel.
Is that why they make Sam stand in the back row, because he's the new guy?
No, he's just taller.
Oh.
Don't try and read into this.
You know, in this drive, the last 3 plays, they've had a botched snap of a ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden, they're in big trouble. They had gone from a locomotion just going down the track. All of a sudden, track veered, got a little crumpled up. Now they're in serious trouble. You don't convert here. You don't want to walk into that locker room with 0 points.
Down 27-0. Dennis Erickson said yesterday to us that he had a real good feel, especially on defense. Either side of the ball has played well here in the first half for the Seahawks. 4th down and 3. Warren is the lone setback. 4 wide receivers in the game now for the Seahawks. Breeze, quick drop, complete. They've got the first down. Mike Pritchard, and the drive stays alive. The 1st and goal at the 9.
Right now, you go for the end zone. The Jets have shuffled their personnel and not exactly sure as to who's doing what.
Breeze in the shotgun. Mo Lewis tries to get him. Chris Warren quickly hit behind the line of scrimmage. Marvin Jones.
You don't throw a pass behind the line of scrimmage.
Timeout, Seattle.
And now they'll burn
Second charge, team
the
timeout.
second one.
This is a 30-second timeout.
1 timeout remaining for the Seahawks. .22 seconds left now.
Dennis Erickson and his reaction to the last play, he wants timeout. He wants to get around and talk about it. And he's not totally happy with the execution of that play.
And there's your time remaining. 2nd and goal at the 13. They still have 1 timeout left. And as you said, for them to come away without a score here would be disastrous the way they played here in the first half and have finally moved the football.
And when you don't have time, you don't have time to throw the ball in the middle of the field where someone can be tackled. You have to burn a timeout. You're going in that blue paint that says Seahawks. That's where you score points.
2nd and goal at the 13. For Freeze, under pressure, quick throw. Blades had it and dropped it. Ray Mickens right there to hit him afterwards. But the Jets putting on some pressure.
Yeah, Andre Coleman comes on the blitz, almost gets in free. Mickens is nowhere near Blades. The ball hits Blades right in the hands. See him coming right there on the blitz. There's the ball out. Play, everything was set up perfectly. Blades just can't pull it in.
That's the 2nd drop on this drive.
Blades is a guy who, with that knee problem, missed a lot of time during the preseason. A little rusty now. He made some big plays earlier. They need a big play now.
Wearing a knee brace for the first time. 3rd and goal from the 13. Big rush. Freeze quickly throws. Blades cannot hold on again. And Freeze gets the pressure from Victor Green. And now 4th down, and they'll go for the field goal.
If they don't block it right the first time, run the same stunt again the next time. Right here, coming free. Walter Jones, the rookie, got to slide down, make the guys go around your big frame. Don't give them a straight shot at your quarterback.
31-yard field goal now for Tom Peterson. And Peterson puts it through. Seahawks on the board. They certainly wanted a touchdown, but didn't settle for anything the way it's gone in the first half for them.
They wanted a touchdown, but on none of the 3 passes was the ball thrown in the end zone. Granted, they had a blitz, had to come up with the hot receiver. Still, you have time to get the ball in the end zone. Have an extra blocker. You have Galloway out there who's one of the quickest guys on the football field. He can work away from the defender in a small area. Wasn't used down in that part of the zone. He's a guy who can be a difference maker for this club. Blades is a good receiver. He's had a nice pass. But if you're trying to get things done in the present, you go to Joey Galloway.
Galloway could be a special receiver. Want to remind you, next Sunday, more exciting NFL action beginning at 12 noon Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Most of you will see the Buffalo Bills battle Bill Parcells and the Jets. Others get John Elway and the Broncos against the Seahawks. Check your local listings for the game in your area. More great NFL action on NBC next Sunday starting at 12 noon Eastern. Well, this was the game to start the season when the Jet fans all happy about the appearance of Bill Parcells. Oh, what a tough way to start the season in Seattle against the Seahawks, and there's certainly still a half to go, but Parcells' team nearly flawless in the first half.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of guys on the Jets down on the field before the game. A couple of them woke up around 4 a.m., which is 7 a.m. back on the East Coast, so they couldn't sleep, couldn't go back to sleep either.
Coming up to get it, Leon Johnson, and he'll just fall down. Smart move from Johnson in the final seconds here in the first half.
Smart move, but it hurts his kickoff return average.
Always thinking numbers. So now, at halftime, you can bet what you were saying earlier. He's going to let them know, and how no complacency now. I have a feeling he's going to remind them of what their record was last year.
I don't think very many of the guys have forgotten what their record was last year. You're right. They have to drop the hammer, continue to play well, and offensively they can't go into a shell and become conservative.
Neil O'Donnell will just go down on one knee, and that will end it. O'Donnell, brilliant in the first half. And the Jets shocking everyone. Halftime of the Kingdom, they lead 27-3.